You're listening to the Breakaway Wealth Podcast, the show that helps you build wealth faster, think outside the box, and break out of the herd. Here's your host, Jim Oliver.
Welcome back, Breakaway Wealth. I'm your host, Jim Oliver, and with me today, my good friend, Corey Geary. Here we go. Corey, how are you?
Oh, man, I am blessed. It's truly an honor and blessing to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, Corey, start off, just tell everybody a little bit about you and also tell them where you are and why you're there.
Absolutely, man. So I'm out in Puerto Rico right now. This is where I live. To kind of give you a full story and how I ended up here and what my background is I've been an entrepreneur for about 10 years. In fact, I got into real estate around about a decade ago, and I got into real estate just chasing the dollar, right? I was watching that flip or flop show, and I see those guys making 80 grand in 20 minutes, and I was like, man, I can do that. And literally, I was running around my neighborhood one day, and I saw one of those bandit signs, fix or flip, had a buy price, sell, and then an ARV, the sale price. And then I called that number, and I bought that house. Took me 6 months, and I made 8 grand. And so that was the entry, my entryway into the entrepreneur world and real estate. And I tell everyone real estate saved my life, because when I got into real estate, I was a drug addict. I was an alcoholic. I was going nowhere fast, but to my deathbed. And by chasing the dollar, it forced me to get around like-minded people like yourself who are trying to get better in their life, spiritually, mentally, physically. I started joining masterminds, hired private mentors. And now I've been sober for multiple years. I have a family now, and I live in Puerto Rico, and I owe that to real estate. Real estate was a stepping stone to really, level up my life. And so I tell everyone real estate saved my life. It really did. But, throughout that journey, I also built what I call a 7-figure prison. I had built up this massive business with a bunch of employees where I was, working 15 hours a day, multiple lawsuits at any given time, hiring and firing like crazy. It was insanity. And in 2022, I took a step back. And I don't know if you or your audience have ever read the book, The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. Absolutely. Banger of a book.
Yep.
Where it taught me to stop clawing my way to success in life. So I took a step back, and I was already dabbling with cryptocurrency. And I was like, man, what would happen? Because I was getting some good results. I was like, what would happen if I would really treat this like an asset class, the way I treat real estate? And really double, triple down on this, join masterminds, hire private mentors, go to events. And I did just that in 2022. And by the end of 22, I was making so much in passive income in crypto that it paled in comparison to my wholesaling and flipping company, real estate company. And that's when I did shut the company down, moved to Puerto Rico. And the reason why Puerto Rico is because twofold. One, we don't pay taxes out here, which is kind of cool. Taxes suck. Unless you're buying real estate and you buy a lot of real estate, you can kind of kick the can down the road in taxes. And there's other ways too. But man, here you could just make whatever you want and you're good to go. Like you get a kind of a hall pass. 2, in cryptocurrency, anybody who's in crypto who has a massive portfolio lives out in Puerto Rico. And just like in real estate, when you're trying to level your game up in real estate, you want to learn who has more deals than you, who has bigger portfolios, who's got like the secret sauce. Like it's no different in crypto. You want to be around guys who have bigger portfolios than you. And those guys are out here in Puerto Rico. It's like anytime I'm going out on a Friday night to DD these guys, or if I go on a Saturday lunch, like it's an instant mastermind of crypto guys, guys who have very high net worth. These guys I would never meet them in Arizona and network with them. And so that's the second fold why I'm out here. And man, we love it, man. It's just been a blast. And then now we created a community of 190 other entrepreneurs that we're teaching what we do in crypto, how to make passive income. And, if they're wanting to use crypto as leverage to maybe like 10x their real estate goals, they can. Or if they want to just put a little piece of their portfolio and to have some exposure. I mean, we had one guy the other day, he turned $3K. This was like 2 weeks ago. He turned $3K into $350,000 in 5 days.
Wow.
I was on an airplane we knew the protocol was launching, and we were the ones who announced it, but we didn't know exactly what day it was coming out on. And I was on an airplane and one of our members got in right the second it launched, and he did really well. And so it's been fun. We got people like Robert Allen, who's a billionaire. Or I don't know if he's a billionaire, but he's done over $1 billion in income or revenue through his journey as an entrepreneur. And so like we're teaching him crypto, and yeah, it's just been a blast, man. It's kind of what it is in a nutshell. We're having an absolute great time.
So, it's always hard when you talk about crypto because you got to decide where do we go, right? So some people don't even have a clue on what crypto is, right? Mm-hmm. And they've heard of Bitcoin and Ethereum, and they've heard of the negative stuff in the news, which really has nothing to do with crypto. A Ponzi scheme is the Ponzi scheme, regardless of what vehicle you're using.
Right.
And so, I'm trying to decide, Corey, what's best served for the audience. I think if we don't really need to go to the basics, I'm sure somewhere on your website or somewhere in your social media, you have, hey, here's just the basics of crypto. And I know I have a few companies in crypto space, mostly on the mining side. And I got started in that in 2017 I always just say by accident. And my business partner came to me and he said, hey, Jim, what do you know about crypto? And I said, Bitcoin. And he said, no, there's other kinds. And I said, no, Bob, that's what I know. I know that word Bitcoin. I don't even know what it is. I just know there is a word Bitcoin. And so that was my beginning of the crypto journey. And I'm probably not doing everything I need to be doing, even though I'm doing a lot on I think we have 15 different companies on the mining side and different projects, and some billionaires that are business partners and everything else. And they tell me it's going really well.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
But I want you to talk about this crypto as an asset class, because I think this is where you differentiate yourself and your company from other people that say, and maybe they are crypto experts, but you guys kind of differentiate yourselves. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So, I mean, an asset class, right? That's actually what it is. So real estate's an asset class. The stocks are an asset class. Like, and if you want to get good at real estate, like, I'll give you an example. On my third deal in real estate, I lost $250,000. I lost my life savings. At the time, it was like, I still had my 9 to 5. So thank God I still had that job, that job that was keeping me alive when I lost all that money. And that's why I started wholesaling. Actually, that's how I got into that part of the industry, because I was so broke and I was trying to get some money. Well, man, I didn't respect it as an asset class. I was just going out there trying to wing it because I was watching a TV show. Like, I was not going to events trying to meet people who are in the game, who knew more than me. I didn't have any mentors. I didn't join any masterminds in the beginning of my real estate journey. And crypto is the exact same way. If you get in it and just start throwing money around and treating it like a casino, you will get wrecked. Crypto is unforgiving. I mean, you can lose anywhere from 75 to 99% of your value, if not all your money, if you don't understand that what you're investing in. There's a lot of Ponzi's and scams out there because it's unregulated right now. And so it's the wild, wild west of finance. But if you actually treat it like an asset class and study it like a student, become a student of the asset class and start learning how market cycles work, start learning how to do due diligence, start learning how to read the audits. There's a lot of things that go into this that, like anything else, they say it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert in anything. Crypto's no different. You have to put the time in to get good at this asset class. Otherwise, you can get really destroyed. You don't have the big brother SEC and the government. I mean, they try to. They say they protect you, but they're not really. There's no one there to protect you in crypto. Unlike in real estate, we have a lot of definitive rules and laws around it because of all the scams that happened in the 1960s and 70s. People were buying toxic swamps and stuff. It was wild back then, right? It was a wild, wild west. And that's where we're at right now with crypto. But it's an asset class, make no mistake. There is product market fit. It's here to solve a problem for humanity. And so, like, you just got to know how to use the asset class. You got to know how to invest in it. You got to know, we say passive income. Like, What does that even mean? How do you guys make passive income? You gotta learn how this works. And if you use crypto in the way it's intended to be used, you can make wild passive income. Like you said, mining. I'm mining a brand new layer 1 blockchain right now. It's 11 months old, Pulse Chain. I'm mining that. I'm mining the crap out of it. My computer does all the work. It's passive for me, but you got to understand the in and outs of what mining is and what layer 1 blockchains are, and when in the market cycle should you be doing this, because you should not be mining 24/7, 7 days a week, all year long, because you will eventually lose money on that mining operation. When you come in the market cycle top, the next market cycle top will be 2025. You want to exit out of your portfolio in crypto, because you will lose 75 to 99% of your economic value in the bear market. Crypto is highly volatile. You need to understand cycles and how they work. Smart money does. BlackRock has been playing the game just because they now have the ETFs. They've been playing the game for the last 2 cycles. They buy in during the accumulation zone and they get their portfolios ready. They ride the bull run up for a year to year and a half, and then they sell. They don't enter back in until back in the bear market again. So you got to respect the cycles with crypto. If you don't respect them, they will crush you. And so that's part of like treating it like an asset class, is becoming a student.
So how do you help guys do that? Like, do you do it? Do they just bring you a chunk of money, or and you do it and they're passive? Do you teach them how to do it? Is it both? Kind of tell me how you do it.
So it's a done with you, sir. It's a done with you service, not a done for you service. And so one reason is because cryptocurrency, part of the ethos is to teach you to have self-sovereignty, to teach you to retain your own keys and be your own bank, and to get rid of middlemen. If I were to take your money, I am now a middleman, and you're reliant and have to have trust in me to do what I say I'm going to do. Where cryptocurrency was invented to remove trust, it's supposed to be trustless, permissionless, peer-to-peer transaction, censorship resistant. And so we do it with you. We tell you what buttons to push. And we can go as far as like, we can have a call every other week. We get on that call. We're very, we know exactly what we're going to get accomplished, and we'll get done. We're going to be like, okay, Jim, push this button, push this button, push this button. Okay, cool, man. I'll see you in 2 weeks. And you're going to see your portfolio working in the background, making you money, all while you're doing whatever you do in the real world, crushing the real world, building businesses. That's what we specialize in. So the entrepreneur can go out and do what they want to do, or what they need to do to feed their families. Let us be the experts. Let us do all the due diligence, all the research, bring this to you on a silver platter, and literally let us tell you what buttons to push, and then we'll see you in a couple of weeks. That's basically how it goes for the real busy guys. If you want to get a little more deeper involved and learn how to do the due diligence and kind of like become more I guess I would say full-time crypto, we teach that too. We'll teach you, like, if you want to get into this asset class and really start becoming a student, we'll teach you how to do that too. So it's like entirely up to you how involved you want to be.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So let's say somebody I always just, in every example that I use, Corey, whether it's infinite banking or anything else, and I do like, this is the thing that attracted me to crypto. And I think that crypto and infinite banking go hand in hand, because
they kind of do.
What you're trying to do with infinite banking is you're bringing the banking function in your life to the you and me level. And what crypto is doing is bringing money in banking and other transactions. And eventually, I believe the blockchain will be bigger than the internet. And I know you believe that too. So, now where'd my question go? Oh, my question is, let's say $100,000. Let's just say somebody says, okay, I got $100,000. I don't want to say play with, but I got $100,000 to try to make it work for me. Well, I bring the 100 grand. I have these meetings with you, due diligence. I make that. I'm not telling, I'm not saying but what have you seen? What do you see over the next 24 months, 12 to 24 months? I'm not
Great.
talking about your guy that got, I don't want to say got lucky, but was at the right place at the right time, put $3,000, made 350 grand. I mean, like, but like what kind of returns? Because, when I see people and I think about like, and I know this, I'm asking this question in an awkward way, but it's important because, there are real estate investors out there and they say, when I do real estate, I want to get at least a 25% cash on cash return.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If I talk to somebody who's really got a big portfolio, they'll say 40%, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, 25%, 40%, if I'm a stock market investor, that sounds stupid to me. It sounds like, oh my gosh, that sounds wrong. Something's wrong. And when I say, I know guys that are making $6 million, $10 million a year living in the Midwest, and because of real estate, they don't pay any taxes. They go, oh no, that doesn't sound right. They're going to get in trouble. No, they're not. Right.
No,
so
there's ways around it.
Kind of tell me, what do you see over the next, and again, this is not a guarantee. This is not,
it's not financial
projection.
advice. We're speculating here. Just two guys speculating, having fun.
Yeah.
Great question. So depending on your risk tolerance and what your goals are, what you're trying to achieve out of this asset class is going to, completely dictate what assets you're going to be buying, what kind of passive income you'll be making because of the risk tolerance in the pools that you'll be participating in or mining. And so, like, for example, if you want to be super, super conservative, you'll literally could take that 100 grand, just go buy Ethereum because the ETF is about to get approved and Ethereum still hasn't done its big run up like Bitcoin has. And you could just go buy Ethereum and then put it on the Ethereum network so that way you can mine with it. You're going to mine with it. And you don't earn a lot of passive income in mining Ethereum. It's like it's about 5 to 10%, somewhere in there, APY, annual yield. But the good news is that you'll probably, once again, not financial advice, that's probably the easiest 10x you'll ever receive in your entire life is holding Ethereum for the next 12 to 18 months because of the ETFs getting approved. Plus, we're in the beginning of a bull market. The Bitcoin halving was over about a month ago. And so this is like the beginning of that stage. So like if you want to be super ultra conservative, just go buy Ethereum and then mine with it. And then you'll be earning, between 5 and 10% annualized. And then you'll get maybe a 10x on your money. And so that's the cool part. So the really cool part is even if, let's say you were earning 10% on your 100 grand, well, that's 10 grand over the course of the year. Well, if Ethereum does a 10x over the course of a year, well, then what did you really make passively over the course of the year? You made 100 grand. You didn't make 10 grand in as far as dollar value, right? And so that's where it gets really powerful is because the passive income is not factoring in the gains and you're getting paid in ETH when you're mining the blockchain. And so that's where it gets really interesting. And when it gets really interesting is when we have our strategy call, we'll discuss this further, but like you could figure out where you're at on the risk profile and what your goals are. I mean, something like Pulse Chain, yeah, it's a higher risk to get in something that's brand new. But remember, new is where the gains are made. If you would have got in Ethereum on day one, you would have made it 15,000x, but it was not proven yet. It was risky. It was really risky. But if somebody wouldn't put $1,000 in there and just held, well, man, they did all right. So Pulse Chain is where Ethereum was, multiple years ago. If you get in Pulse Chain, you throw $1,000 in, who knows what it could be worth in 18 months. But the average layer one blockchain from launch in the first cycle does a 500x. If you go do go look at Avalanche, Phantom, Solana, all the different blockchains that have launched that, after Ethereum, that the average is a 500x. So will Pulse Chain do a 500x? I have no clue. Even if it does a 50x, it changes the trajectory of me and my family's life forever. But I'm willing to make that bet and be a little bit more speculative and take on that risk because I understand why I'll get rewarded so well is because I took that risk on. And then when I'm mining Pulse Chain, I make about 20% APY because it's not as competitive as Ethereum. Now, you can get some really good passive income when you become a liquidity provider. And that's a little bit deeper down the rabbit hole, but that's where you become the Coinbase. You become the Robinhood. You're the one putting up the assets for the marketplace to trade in and out of. And you can make anywhere from 20% up to 150% APY annualized. And so just depending on what pools you're in, and once again, your risk tolerance. It's all about your risk tolerance, your goals, like any other assets, any other investment thesis. Everyone's financial situation is so different. So there's no cookie cutter for you and me. And like, hey, it's all different. And we do have these conversations though, if you ended up working with us. So
what's funny is I had somebody make a comment like what I was just doing there. Like it looked like you were checking your email. I'm making a note. Okay, so like if the guest says something that I want to make sure I remember, I'm making a note on my phone, and so Corey just said something because it made me think. Okay, so if I took $100,000, $500,000 or something, and I said, okay, I'm going to work with Corey, and hey, I want 70% of it in Ethereum because I want to make sure that I'm going to get my money back, somewhere down the line, that I'm not going to lose anything. And I'm going to get that 10%. And then I'm going to, even if it 5X'd, I'd be thrilled to death, by the way. So, and then the other 30%, okay, I'm willing to take some flyers because even if I 5X on the 70%, the 30%, I'm a guy, I don't like to go backwards, right? So I'm willing to take some risk, but not with a very much of my money, right?
Yep, not the whole bullet. Yep.
Not the whole thing. Yeah. And so, that's why I was making a note, because I was like, all right, I got to have a conversation with Corey offline and talk about this. So, all right, Corey, tell me how people engage you guys. What's the best way? Or if they just want to dip their toe in and find out a little bit more about you.
Yeah.
Is it YouTube? Is it Instagram? Tell me where.
Best place, man, is social medias, man. You can reach out to us. I'm Corey Geary, just how it's spelled here, CoreyGeary. On Facebook, on Instagram, it's the Corey Geary. Like literally, you can DM me. It's me who answers my DMs. I don't have a VA answering the DMs yet. Maybe in the future I will. I don't know. But I answer my own DMs, so you can reach out to me, inquire any more information about what we got going on and how we can help serve you. And even if it's just questions about crypto, we love talking crypto, right? Like this is what we do. We eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff. I mean, you're more than happy to ask any questions about that too, and we're here to serve. We love helping out entrepreneurs, have a little bit of exposure to this asset class, whether it's 1% of your net worth or it's like 10%. We don't tell people that they got to do what I did, right? Like I'm all in, like I'm completely all in, but that's not realistic for most people in their risk profile. So it's like, you got to come in and work your way into this asset class. Get comfortable with it. But that means just coming in and betting a few $1,000s in the beginning and while you're learning this stuff, that is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with put a few $1,000s in and then getting a feel of this asset class, because you don't have to bet the farm to buy the farm either when it comes to crypto. This stuff, when it takes off, it really takes off. It's the highest appreciating asset class known to mankind. Get a little exposure, just a little bit.
So it's funny that you say that about the $1,000, the whatever, a little bit of money, because I was talking to somebody the other day, and this person, they basically flip luxury watches, right?
Oh yeah, okay.
And some guys are buying $100,000 or $1 million watches and flipping them, and the watch that Tom Brady showed up to for his roast is this blue ceramic AP that's worth about $500,000, right?
Wow.
I'm not talking about that. All right, because that's, and the reason I'm bringing this up is the asset class idea and thought is, but you can go buy a Breitling that sold for 10 grand brand new for $1,500 to $3,000 when that person needs to pay their taxes around April, right? And you can go sell it for 4 grand now, and then it's how many times you can do that, right? So this guy that I know, he's a young guy, making $150,000, $200,000 a year doing that.
Well, that's
and
great.
Like, good for you, right?
Yeah.
An hour a day,
Yeah.
I mean, 2 hours a day. I mean, and so that's an asset class. Real estate is an asset class. Crypto is an asset class. And if you kind of just say to yourself, hey, I don't really know what that is, and I'm just going to ignore it, then it's been the best asset class in the last whatever number of years by far. There's like nothing touches it. Like you said, even if it was just Bitcoin has done that, right? I mean, so, I know guys, we had Jimmy Song on, and I don't know what it was worth like $7 billion at the time. He bought Bitcoin when it was nothing, right?
Wow.
And Jimmy's a really cool dude, and you would never know that. But somebody said, hey, I wonder what that guy, I said, yeah, maybe he went from 7 to 4. That's too bad. I feel sorry for Jimmy. He went from 7 billion to 4 billion if you just, if he kept everything in crypto, right? Everything in Bitcoin.
And here in the next year, he'll go up to 10 billion.
That's exactly. And I'm like, because, what I try to tell people too is, I don't know, maybe it's me, but it's hard. You don't have any idea. If you had $4 billion and you had it invested in the most boring thing in the world, you would not be able to spend all the money that you generate every year, right? So that goes back to, do you want an asset class like mutual funds and these Wall Street based investments where you can really take 3 to 4% and not run out of money and not have a 92% chance using the Monte Carlo method of calculating what your chances of not running out of money? 3 to 4% out of a Wall Street account over 25 years, you have a 92% chance of not running out of money. That means you have $1 in 25 years, right?
Yeah.
So that's a hard game to win, especially when you have no control. You don't really even know what they're investing in. They don't have to tell you, right? You're just in American funds, blah, 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 or Vanguard or whatever. Yep. And you got to take control, whether it's real estate, whether it's crypto, whether it's watches. You've got to take some control of your life, and you got to partner with people that know what they're doing.
Yes.
Crypto may or may not be right for you, but how are you going to know until you check it out? So I would encourage everybody in the audience to check it out. All right, Corey. So, I love what you said. Here's what I really love about what your story, man, is you said, I was going down the wrong path. And I love your shirt too. And what I like about, I went to put, I went to put a t-shirt on, and I was like, am I going to pull off the fuchsia, t-shirt? But I'm always just like wearing t-shirts, right? If I'm playing golf, then I'm wearing a golf shirt. But I'm wearing t-shirts because, hey, we can, right? Yeah, we can wear t-shirts if we want to. So I just think that's cool. But I love your story because it's not like, hey, 30 years ago I did, I was going down the wrong path, and in over 30 years I amassed this wealth. It's like, hey, it wasn't long ago that I was here, and now I'm here, and it doesn't take a lifetime, because that message is lost, especially like on my generation. They think, hey, I'm 60 years old. It's too late. I'm behind. My 401k is low, or whatever the hell it is, right? And I'm like, no. I know guys that have built real estate portfolios of $500 million in 5 years. I know people in the crypto space that have made way more money than they could have ever put in a 401k in the best markets in 5 years. Yeah. So whether you're 25 and you've got that $3,000, that $1,000, that $10,000, whatever, or you're 60, I love that. So I would encourage everybody to reach out. But all along this journey, somebody had to give you some great advice. So what's the best piece of advice anybody's ever given you?
Oh, that's a great question, man. The best piece of advice is, I would say, this was after my third big L, or it wasn't my third big L, my third flip, which was going to be my big L in my real estate journey. Is like, people have already carved the way in whatever industry you're trying to pursue. Most likely somebody's already carved the path, paved the way, made the mistakes. Find out who those people are. And maybe you don't have to pay them but you need to bring value to them. Like, link up with them. There's people who know way more than you in the industry that you're pursuing. Same with me still. Like, I still am a student. Always stay a student and never be afraid. For me, I'm never afraid to pay for my way to get ahead and cut the line, right? And now in the beginning of your entrepreneur journey, I get it. You might not have like $250,000 or even $100,000. You might have to do other ways to provide value to people so that way you can get information back, get value back. And so find out how to do that as quickly as humanly possible in your entrepreneur journey. And one of the biggest things that I learned through my entrepreneur journey was how to love myself. That's another one I can't stress.
Nice.
You need to really figure, money's great. Like I love money, right? We all love money. But money's ended up being the byproduct now of this journey I've gone on that was way more valuable than the actual money I received. It's really remarkable how that ended up being that way because it was money that I was chasing.
Right. Yeah.
I was chasing money, but now it's like, whoa, that wasn't what the real value or the real lesson through all this was. It was learning to love myself and learning to really, become a better person spiritually, mentally, physically. I've gotten closer to God. I've got a family now. It's just these things that blossomed out of my entrepreneurial journey has just been amazing. So yeah, that would be that's from my own experience there. But yeah, don't be afraid to get some help. Join masterminds, hire private mentors. Go to local RIAs if you're in real estate, stuff like that. Find out what industry are you in and where are people congregating around that industry. That's the biggest thing.
What I love about what you said about the self-love part is, in the Bible in Matthew, it says, love your neighbor as yourself, depending on what version of the Bible that you like to read. My buddy Joe Pantozzi, he reads the King James version, and I can never understand what the King James version is saying. But everybody thinks that was like, hey, love your neighbor as much as you love yourself. It's saying you got to love yourself, right? I mean, if you don't have that self-love, now there's something like that's where those affirmations from like Think and Grow Rich and all that, standing in the mirror every day and saying those affirmations, right?
Yep.
I mean, I know it sounds hokey. I thought it was voodoo hokey crap, but it's not. If you just do it for 30 days, it'll change your life.
Yep.
So great advice, Corey. Last question and before we wrap it up, and then we're going to put how to contact Corey in the, like he gave it to you, but we're going to put all that in the show notes. You'll have everything that you need to do. And I really encourage you to educate yourself about this and what they're doing and ask questions.
Yeah.
But, when and I said this over and over again on this show, but when I never read a book in school. I never read a book. Even 70% of the book. But when I started reading to get better at something and understand the way the world works, is I started making notes. And then I would read, I would make notes, and then I would reach out to the author and ask the questions that I put in my notes. So what I would do if I were going to look at Corey, I'd go and look at all Corey's stuff and I'd write questions. Then I would either send him an email, call him, text him, whatever it is, and I'd probably bug the crap out of him. But you know what? He'll answer those questions. And then when I get the answers, here's what I see wrong with this. Just like infinite banking. Bob Murphy, PhD in economics. He gets this little 92-page book from Nelson Nash. He starts to read it. He goes, well, there's 7 things wrong in this book. So he talks to Nelson Nash. Then he goes, you know what? There's 3 things wrong in this book. Talks to Nelson again. Hey, there's only 1 thing wrong in this book. Talks to Nelson again. Hey, this book is perfect. So his understanding can't, that's how you learn. That's how you get better. So thinking of books, Corey, if God came down from heaven and only allowed you to retain the knowledge that you've received from 1 book in your life, what would that book be?
That's a difficult question.
That is a difficult question.
Oh my gosh, there's so many good ones. Right off the top of my head, Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill comes to mind, which is freaking fire. I've read it probably 8 times, including on Audible, because the Audible has like the devil's voice. And so it's almost like watching a movie when you're listening to the Audible of that. Such a powerful book of learning just how to be a better person in life and to be on the right path in life. It really is. And then I'm right next to it, man. I gotta throw 2 out there. I mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
Michael Singer's Untethered Soul.
I thought that's where you were going to go the first time.
It was tough, dude. You asked the question and the Outwitting the Devil popped in first. I just took whatever came in first to mind, but neither one of those are really to say are better than the other. Your listeners should read both.
So just to show people, you know, I don't even know. I guess I can't show people. How
Try to get a little closer, maybe.
It's there we go.
There it is.
I'm not sending text messages while Corey's talking. I'm ordering. I haven't listened to it on Audible. So you just said, I'm like, boom, I'm in, man. I'm listening to it on Audible. So that's awesome. It's funny because somebody did say, like, it looks like you're text. I'm taking notes. I mean, like, I want to learn. I'm learning this stuff too, man.
I love it.
I'm going to implement some of this stuff. So, and I love the books, Untethered Soul. I can tell you where I used to, I read that when I lived in South Dakota, and we had a big house in South Dakota. We had all these different rooms, and we had a room that was like we had a Megan bed, which is from Korea. And It's like this massage bed, and it has this jade and all this voodoo stuff, and that I believe in. And I would lay there for like an hour, but I had a thing that I could hold the book and read. And that's where I started reading that book in that room. For like, when you said that, I went back to that room.
Yeah.
I miss South Dakota 3 months out of the year. The rest of the time you can have it. But I'm just teasing. The great people up there. All right, Corey. Well, hey, thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you for sharing and pouring into the audience. Audience, I encourage you, go out and find out more about this. Reach out to Corey. See if it's right for you. Maybe, maybe not. And Corey, we're going to end this like we do every episode with the incredible words of Earl Nightingale and The Strangest Secret. So take it away, Earl.
Here's the key to success and the key to failure. We become what we think about. Now let me say that again. We become what we think about.
Thanks for listening to the Breakaway Wealth Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to this show wherever you're listening so you never miss an episode. If you want to start increasing your wealth building ability right now, go to community.createtailwind.com to join our free online community and get access to free, in-depth training designed to help you build real, lasting wealth. See you next week.